Hello, welcome to This Old Geek. I'm Mike Esker. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this dapper Snowball Snowman. Now, I'm using balls that were made by paper mache balloons that I had for a different project, but I decided to forego that project to do this one. And that's where the balloons were. And that is a aluminum ring I ran around. I put on the bottom, hot glued it so it sits flat. This part also came from a balloon that I paper mache, and I cut the bottom off there, and now I'm tracing around, see where I want to glue this. And after I hot glue that one, then I trace the head, and I hot glue the head on there. I use balloons of different sizes to make the different body parts. For the arms, I already had this made up. I just put paper mache around balls of clay that I had made, and just when it all dried, I cut open the paper mache, took out the clay, and then paper mache'd it back together again, and then I just put them all three together. Now here I'm just cutting that out there so I can put it flat up against the body. And I mark one side and the other where I want to hot glue them on there. And I'm hot gluing two parts there. Now you see how I am wearing protective gloves. The glue gets very, very hot. You saw the steam or smoke there coming out. Now that's just a ball of aluminum foil that I hot glued onto his face. Now here I'm applying homemade paper clay, which, I have a recipe on my channel, how I made that. There's also, you can find all kinds of different recipes on YouTube. Just, put in paper clay. There's dozens of different recipes on there. So I just cover the entire body, and I get this wet because you have to smooth it out with water. I made it a little thicker than I probably should have. And I'm also getting my spatula wet and spreading it on there. But yeah, you definitely need to get it wet to smooth it out, like I'm doing right here. And of course I'm not wearing gloves there, which is okay. It washes off. And I'm putting that around the bottom there, the ring there, and I'm going to make it a little more stable. It wobbled a little bit, but I'm going to use the clay to make it more stable, make it flatter, so it doesn't wobble so much. I try to get the bottom as even as I possibly can. And there I'm putting some finishing touches there. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, and here I'm using creative clay to mold the nose, make the features. Now, as I was saying, they're snowballs, so you don't have to be perfect. I mean, when you roll a snowball to make a snowman, they're not always perfect. So I wasn't too concerned with doing it all perfect. Now here I am applying drywall compound. Now I'm going to spread it all over. This is going to help to make him smoother than what he was, I should say. So I just cover the body completely and let it dry. After drywall compound completely dries, I'm using a rag dipped in water, getting it nice and wet. You don't want to get it too wet though. You don't want to. You get it too wet, you're going to soften up the paper mache too much, and you can actually wind up going right through it. I've had that happen, or have it collapse on you. But anyway, so I'm just rubbing, instead of sanding, I'm rubbing the drywall compound smoother than it was. And now I'm applying gesso, which is a primer, over the entire body. I only do about a coat of that, and then I just let it dry. Now here I'm applying white acrylic paint all over him, and I do about 2 or 3 coats all the way around, letting each coat dry first before I apply the other. I decided to give him blue eyes. So I'm just painting them right on there. You can see I added the brows on there, all with the paper clay. Getting the pupils all filled out here. Trying to get them as symmetrical as possible. And here I'm putting in the pupils. And adding a little white paint for reflection off the eyes. To make the hat, I use corrugated cardboard, and I just take this plate, draw around the size that I want. Now this is from the bottom of a like an oatmeal container. This is what I'm using to make the top hat. So I'm drawing that center around because that's where I'm going to put the glue on so I can sit the hat on there. Now I just cut this out with my X-Acto knife and cut out the center the way I want it. To glue the top of the hat onto the brim, I'm using Mod Podge, which I'm actually, I just discovered this recently. I mean, I've seen it on the shelves when I go to the craft stores, but I never really checked it out until recently, and it works as a glue. It's a combination glue, sealer, and finisher, and I like it. It really works really well. So here I'm just using it as a sealer right now, covering all the way around. And now after it dries nice and clear. I got the gloss kind. Then I paint it with black acrylic paint. I do like 2 coats of it. And now once I get that all painted, I let it dry, and now I am using it as a sealer. So it's going to give it like a gloss finish when I'm all finished. This will dry nice and clear. Now doing the same to the Snowman. This is Mod Podge that I'm spreading all over, painting all over him. And I do 2 coats, and that will give him a nice glossy finish, top and bottom. And final touches, I glue the hat on, hot glue it on. It looks more like a hat that an Amish gentleman would wear. And to make it a little less formal, I hot glued that red bow tie on there. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.